Good evening and welcome to this North West Area Planning meeting held today, 30th of November 2022. My name is Councillor Maddie Thompson. I'm the chairman of this committee. Before we commence the business of the meeting, there are just a few housekeeping rules to run through. We're streaming this meeting live as well as recording, and by being present in the meeting, you're giving your consent to being recorded. When invited to speak, please turn on your microphone and speak clearly, referencing a page or a paragraph number when referring to the agenda papers. Keep your contributions as clear and concise as possible, and ensure your microphones remain off when not speaking, as this is important for the live streaming to be heard clearly. Finally, can I draw your attention to the notices on the agenda papers regarding the different levels within the chamber, and advise that the fire exit is the door behind this top table. Right, members, there is no members update this evening. So item 2 is apologies for absence, please, Ms Casey.
Thank you, Chairman. We've received apologies for absence from Councillors Durham and Siddle.
Thank you very much. Item 3 is the minutes. It's recommended that the minutes of the meeting held on the 2nd of November, found on pages 7 to 10, are approved as a true and accurate record. May I take them as read, members? Getting ahead. I so propose. Can I have a seconder, please? Okay. Do we agree, those members? Are there any matters arising? Matters of accuracy, sorry. No. Okay. Right. Next, item 4 is declarations of interest to disclose the existence and nature of any disclosable pecuniary interests, other registrable interests and non-registrable interests relating to items of business on the agenda, having regard to paragraph 9 and appendix B of the Code of Conduct for members. And members are reminded they're required to disclose any such interests as soon as they become aware, should the need arise through the meeting. Anything? No? Right, thank you. So item 5 on the agenda is our first planning application, which is Eastcroft, Cottage, Fambridge Road, Mundon. And our presenter is Ms Sadler, please.
Thank you, Chair. This application seeks retrospective listed building consent for internal alterations. The proposed works relate solely to the interior of the house. The house has been refurbished and extended following a listed building consent granted in 2018, reference 17-01469. Whilst making a routine site visit, the conservation officer noticed that there had been a minor deviation from the approved plans internally. A slightly wider opening had been created between the kitchen and utility room when compared to that approved in 2018. While this was a breach of listing building consent, it has resulted in only a small loss of the 19th century timber structure. The conservation officer therefore advised the owner that submit a retrospective application to regularise the situation. This is the location plan, so site plan. So it's the area in orange that is the part of the partition wall that had been removed. The areas in red at the top of the plan are from the previously approved application in 2018 and not part of this application. This is the application site. This is the photo taken in 2015 before the opening, and this is the widened opening. And that is the end of the presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, members. Discussion time, out of which I hope a proposal will appear.
Yeah, I would just say that I know this house very well. I used to know the former owner, Trudy, and it's flooded multiple times. And to be honest, I'm really impressed that the owners have managed to save it, because there was a time when everybody thought it was not savable. And for me, it's such a minor application. I propose that we agree the officer's recommendation to approve.
Second.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone wish to speak against? Those in favour? There's only one of you.
That's got to be the fastest application we've ever had.
Okay, I think that probably is some kind of a record. Just for the record, the application is approved in line with the officer's recommendation. Right, thank you very much. The next item is our second and last planning application, which is Hawkins Farm, Hackmans Lane, Clarks. Presentation, please, Ms Sadler.
Thank you, Chair. This application seeks permission for an outline planning application with all matters reserved for the demolition of the existing dwelling and the construction of 2 new dwelling houses. The application site is located on the western side of Hackmans Lane within the defined settlement boundary of Cocklarks. The application site is located on a prominent corner location on a main thoroughfare leading through Cocklarks. The site is bound by dense vegetation and mature trees. There is an existing bungalow located at the site, and there is a mixture of residential properties located along Hackmans Lane, as well as Hawkins Close, including detached and semi-detached 2-storey dwellings. Dwellings largely front Hackmans Lane with the exception of Hawkins Close, which is a small cul-de-sac located west of the site. Outline planning permission with all matters reserved is sought for the residential of 2 dwellings. There's the plans. This is the location plan. Site's outlined in red. This is the existing site plan. The proposed site plan, which with no house. These are the site photographs. Sorry, there's a few more. Oh, and that's the end of the presentation.
Thank you. And the recommendation is...
The recommendation is the proposed development would be remote and disconnected from local services and facilities by reasons of its location, and would provide poor quality and limited access to sustainable and public transportation, resulting in an increased need of private vehicle ownership for future occupiers of the site. It would also result in a cramped and contrived form of development which would not reflect the spacious pattern of development within the area, and would result in undue harm to the residential amenity of future occupiers by reason of direct overlooking from number 5 Hawkins Close. The proposal would lead to the intensification of the access along Hackmans Lane, which would result in an unacceptable degree of hazard to all road users to the detriment of general highway safety, and insufficient information has been submitted to demonstrate that there would not be significant harm on the impact of the trees and the visual amenity of the locality. The proposal would therefore be contrary to policies S1, S2, S8, D1, D2, H4 and T2 of the Mundon Local Development Plan, and is recommended for refusal. There are 7 reasons of refusal that are detailed in the officer report.
Thank you. Right, members, again, we have no member of the public speaking on this, so discussion? Anybody?
I don't mind going first. Actually, to be fair, when I called this committee to committee, I thought that it was development of the field, up the road. And I've now realised, being here tonight, that it's not. It's actually just an additional house on an existing residential site. Now, is the whole site residential already that they're looking to put in planning permission? I'm a bit blindsided. I don't know why I thought it was the field. I think it's because the previous application was the field. I'm a bit surprised now. So is the entire site already residential? That's my first question. And are they 2-storey houses? Are they bungalows? What are they proposing? Or is it just outlined completely so we don't know what they are at all?
I believe it's completely outlined. Ms. Sandra, Mr. Lee? Anybody? Mr. Lee. Okay.
Thank you, Chairman. The application is outlined in nature. The site, as the officer's report explains, and as Ms. Sadler said, the application is to demolish the existing bungalow and to provide 2 dwellings on the site. So to say, is it all residential, as in is it a property with garden? Yes, then that would be the answer to that.
Okay, sorry, just for clarity, I think I know the answer to this, but that means the dwellings could be anything, houses or bungalows, potentially.
At the moment, obviously,
there's no specification.
Obviously, if members of the LPA had strict, for example, if you're in an area where it was really uniform bungalows, for example, and someone came in with an outline and you thought the principle of providing a dwelling on that site was acceptable, you'd normally impose a condition requiring that it can only be single-storey. Or if you had an issue in relation to a dorm or potential for overlooking, you might put that windows couldn't be. So there are restrictions you can put in through an outline to tie the reserved matters, but there's nothing with us where they've proposed that. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much. Right, I've got Councillor Keys and then councillor Morley.
All right, thank you, Madam Chairman. So it's up that track by the side of them trees, is that correct? Through that white, that grey, brown gate? I'm getting there in the end. No. No? Right. Well, we got a picture of that then.
Sorry, through you, Chair, that's a neighbouring, the next door property,
So, I mean,
the Brown Gate.
right, so how did you get to this property? The one on the left-hand side. Right, where the fir trees then? So it goes up there to this one property, is that right? Correct, yes, no?
Yes, it does, yeah.
Right, there we go. So the house is in the middle there. The access is at the bottom of that picture, where the trees, no, yes? Because I can't make it the tail of this.
I think it's about, it might be about where the car is, I think.
Is it?
I think, maybe a bit to the left, I'm not too sure.
So we don't know where the access is then? Yes, no?
I don't think even that's...
Do you know, I know Hackmans,
Councillor Fleming might well...
I know Hackmans Lane, but I'm not...
Well, I know it really well, but I can't think where the access is. I'm like driving past it regularly.
Go on, Mrs Fleming.
The access actually, as you drive along, Councillor Keys, you have the long straight bit.
Yes.
Before you get to the bend.
Yeah.
It's on the bend.
Right,
Sort of, you've got the pub opposite,
Opposite, yeah.
it's on the bend.
right, I
Which
know that.
is why Essex Highways,
Yeah,
and usually for them, have said it is not
acceptable.
acceptable.
But there's already a place there. One house, and they want to put two in, yeah. Right,
I
okay.
actually can't remember the last
And
time
that-
Essex Highways put it.
No, I can't.
Shouldn't it?
No, it's very surprising. Very surprising. So that whole red outline is the whole plot owned by the applicant. That's all in his or hers
Yeah.
name. Right.
Through you, Chairman, as you can see up there, this is the existing site.
Site,
plan,
yeah.
So this is where the property.
One house
this
in the
is
middle.
Access, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, I can't see too much of a problem. Can we go back to the pictures again then, please? Have we got a picture of this head house that's coming down? That would they like to take down? No?
I think it's in that first picture, it's just a bungalow.
There, is it?
It's quite a big bungalow.
It's a big bungalow sat in the middle of a site, and we'll knock it down and put two houses in. Right. Okay. Cheers, thank you.
Members, for your interest, Essex Highways have said it's not acceptable to the Highway Authority for the following reasons. The proposal would lead to the intensification of use of the existing vehicular access, where the required vehicular visibility displays of 2.4 metres by 43 metres in both directions to the near side cannot be achieved. Lack of suitable visibility, approaching vehicles would result in an unacceptable degree of hazard to all road users to the detriment of general highway safety. So if you put two dwellings there, you double the traffic. Sorry, I've got Councillor Fleming, I've also got Councillor Morley, of course.
Purley Parish Council also, they comment on the access. Access to and egress from the site is on a blind bend and therefore represents a danger to highway safety via increased traffic movements at a highly dangerous location contrary to policies T1 and T2 of the local developments plan.
I bet it's the sort of access, if you asked to put it there now, you wouldn't get permission, but it's been there forever. Sorry, can I let Councillor Morley go, because he's been sitting there very
No, that's
patiently.
okay. It was, thank you, Chairman, Madam Chairman. It was on, whatever, I just get so afraid what
I
to
don't
say
care
now.
if it's not Cruella, Councillor.
Mine also was about the access, where exactly it was going to come out of. But obviously they're sharing similar access, as you say. Trimming back the trees, no, that wouldn't help. That was my thing. But I do see the point. That was, I mean, I do know that corner, and it is quite a sharp. Yeah, I take your point. Thank you.
No, sorry.
Chairman, all I was
Mr.
going to say is obviously if the issue is in relation to trimming back trees, things like that, then the Highway Authority wouldn't normally object. They'd say that because they'd be doing it on a plan, etc., and then we would have to deal with that. So when they object, it's because of the topography or the angle of the camber of the road, etc., or just physical structures result in it not being able to be met. Thank you, Chairman.
Yes, like us, if it could be mitigated by conditions, then they don't object, same as we don't. Right, sorry, I have got Councillor Keys and Councillor Miss White, so...
No need to come back because Councillor Morley stole my thunder about cutting the trees back. I thought I haven't got a problem if the trees can be cut back, but if they can't and Highways have looked at it, well...
Thank you. Councillor Miss White.
Yeah, I have to say I didn't see, obviously I've been out for the last God knows how long, for various different meetings. I hadn't seen the objection by Highways, but I don't imagine that there's anything stopping the applicant moving the access to somewhere else that Highways wouldn't object to. In another application, because personally for me it's already residential, so that's not the issue. But if there's a problem, that's why I asked the question, but if there's a problem with, if Highways have objected, then I think that's the problem that we have, barring it comes back with something that Highways do find acceptable, and maybe the applicant could work with Highways to try and find a solution somewhere along the line, because I think if Highways objected, we can't approve it.
I wouldn't want it on my conscience, I must admit.
No, exactly.
Councillor Morgan.
Well, frankly, Madam Chairman, I'm just thinking, but it just strikes me that both the comments and the recommendations from the Parish Council, and particularly from Essex County Council, our Highways Department, I move that we follow officers' recommendations and refuse this application.
Thank you, members. Yes, I mean, how often do parish councils complain that they take a view on these things and don't get any support?
Well, it's Highways. Highways never
Don't get
object.
the support from Highways. So for Highways... So, right, we have a proposal and a seconder to approve the officer's recommendation to approve. Those in favour? Anyone against? Okay. Ms Casey, did you get that okay? The voting, we just had one against, everyone else for. Did you want to say something?
Yes, Chairman, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, again, that application is refused in line with the officer's recommendation, and that brings us to item 7. Any other items of business the chairman of the committee decides are urgent? You'll be very glad to hear there are none. So, with thanks to officers, members and members of the public, I close the meeting at 7:48, and that's some kind of record. Thank you, everyone.
Well done.